the Masters released Jon Rahm's Champions Dinner menu. And this is, this is very, what's the word? I was going to say Spanish. Traditional. I guess the word I think I was looking for. Traditional is the word that I was looking for. First off, I'll do my best, but these pronunciations are going to get me. He starts tapas style, Patrick. Now, for those who don't know, what would tapas style dinner look like?
Just like a lot of small plates. Yeah. A lot of small plates. And we'll get into the rest of the menu. You can go ahead before I can have my take on it.
Yeah, so there are 6 different small plates, everything from croqueta de pollo. Those are creamy chicken fritters. You've got tortilla de patatas. You've got, this one's my favorite, lentejas estofadas. That is Mama Rahm's classic lentil soup. I mean, that's just half of the tapas, Greg. This is a pretty big menu already.
Yes, it is healthy. But that's what tapas are. Look, you go get tapas. You're not here to have one thing. You know, you're not just going to get chicken at tapas. You're going to try a little bit of everything. It's kind of like going to a wedding that has great finger food, right? It's fantastic. So, yeah, I like tapas. Usually not my preference. My wife loves tapas. That's her style.
Greg, I would be certain that Greg hates tapas.
Yeah, I'm not I don't want tapas. You're right on the button.
You're on the right side of history, Greg.
Yeah.
like listen, I'm with you too. I don't like to share. My wife's always like, why don't we get a couple of things and share it all? Or why don't, like, I get something that looks good and you get something that looks good and we'll split. I'm like, no, like, I'm just going to order what I want. I'm going to eat it. I think you should order anything you want. We don't need to do this as a team. Patrick, tapas is like a team thing to me.
It's horrible. I hate it. It's honestly the worst. I have, a bit of an aside, somewhat similar, but so I went on a date a couple months ago. It's like a pretty important date, right? I think it was like number 3, maybe number 4.
All time?
Yeah. Oh, Greg. No
one, Greg.
When I see you in person, I'll remember that comment.
Okay.
So important date, right? Do or die. And she was insistent on picking the restaurant. I was like, fine. You know, I planned the first 3. They went great. And then at the place, it was a place I've always wanted to go and I haven't. She was insistent on like ordering everything. I'm like, okay, it's 2024. I get it. You can take control, do your thing. And then she was insistent on us sharing everything. That was the last date between us.
At least you found out early.
It was I was just like stewing the whole time. I was Mama Rahm stewing that the entire time. Like I knew what I wanted. She didn't get it. I was like, oh, what about this? She's like, no, you don't want that. Like she completely alphaed me. And I was like, I don't know if I could take this. I don't know if I could do this for the rest of my life. So I had to cut it short.
Now, have you been back to that place to actually get what you want?
Yeah, it wasn't that good. She was right.
Now you got to call her and be like, listen, you were actually right about that.
So I have an ordering philosophy at restaurants.
I cannot wait for this. This is good.
So you go to a restaurant and this is new or old. Like it's like I'm drafting an NFL football team. When I look at the menu, I get the best thing that's on it. And you know what it is just looking at the menu. You get the best thing on it.
Best available.
Quite often, my wife and I agree on the best thing. We like very similar foods. She doesn't like to get the same thing as me. She asks what I'm ordering. I try to be secretive about it. I don't understand it.
I don't either.
If this is the best thing on the menu, there's nothing wrong with having 2 of them. You know, we don't have to get, because this is the other thing, different than Mina, Rick. She doesn't want to share, you know, maybe a bite to try it, but She just doesn't want to get different things or the same thing. Like, you get the best thing on the menu. That's one rule. The second rule is the best thing on the menu almost always has the name of the restaurant in it, if that exists. So if you go to a place called Jerry's and there's Jerry's steak on the menu, that's what you get. And you'll never be disappointed. And if you are disappointed, you never go back.
Okay.
What do you
Foolproof.
And this has worked for you over the years.
Yeah, I'm 30. I'm 32 years old. I'm experienced.
Jerry steak?
Whatever I was just trying to come up with something generic, but the point is, you get. Oh, Chris
said, does the restaurant have to be a particular time?
Eastern, of course.
Well, this is the thing. Time zones are a farce. Okay, we've been over this.
Okay, so there's a lot to unwrap on that. But we just had this problem last week. I was locked into eggplant parmesan. I'm getting eggplant parm. That's what I'm getting. I know that. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Mina wants it too. I said, great, let's both get it. No, can't happen. She'd be embarrassed to order two of the same thing from the waitress. Like, we can't. Why? How? I'm like, what does it matter? We're both going to enjoy it. Why? I cannot wrap my head around why this is a problem.
Somebody ends up disappointed.
But why?
Rick, it's a battle I've decided I can't win. I can just complain about it behind my wife's back on podcasts because I know that she's not going to listen to. But I will go downstairs afterwards and remind her that I still have this conversation. But at the restaurant, she wins.
Men would rather complain about it on a golf podcast than go to therapy.
anything but speak to my wife about this issue. I guess I just order second. So if she goes and says eggplant parm, and I go eggplant parm, is she so embarrassed that she now has to retract her order?
No, that would be crazy. You know what you do? You know what you could do? I was gonna get something else, but that sounds so good. I have to get it too.
I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that. I did. Once I heard it come out of your mouth, I thought it sounded so perfect.
Yeah. Yep. I didn't even see it on the menu, but it's what I wanted.
Patrick, do you think that the item named after the restaurant is the best item on the menu?
I'm trying to think. The fact that Greg used a name like Jerry is throwing me off a little bit. No disrespect to any listeners out there named Jerry. It's just not it's not really a strong name in my opinion.
Oh man. It was so random. I apologize.
I don't really. I think there's something there, perhaps. I know when you go internationally, people were calling me uncultured today because of my tapas restaurant take. You want to avoid the places that have pictures on the menu. Those you want to avoid. Never good. That
was the number one thing someone told me when we were in Italy for the Ryder Cup. They said avoid the places with pictures on the menus because those are for like tourists and like tourist traps, and like so you can just point at the picture and say, this is what I want. Like, avoid those places.
And I would also say I try to like get off the water as well. Like everyone wants to go to the restaurant like right on the water. The food's usually not the best. The real estate is, of course, but you got to get off the water a little bit.
So that's a good call because the places that some of the places we go to in Orange County are like prime location, worst restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are paying for the location. They're paying for the experience, not paying for you don't have to be good at food. You have a line out the door at all times because you're on the water.
Yeah. I would say
I like that.
Mm-hmm. I would say about Rahm's menu, one thing that stuck out to me. One, I'm a little disappointed there are no Irishmen in the Champions Dinner. I don't believe. If I'm wrong, please do not kill me, because there's a lot of potato, a ton of potato. Chistoro con patata, potato.
We didn't even get to
Croqueta de pollo,
the
potatoes.
The main course is Basque ribeye, chulutan a la parrilla, or you can have, what is turbot?
Turbot, good fish, flaky, white.
Sorry. And then dessert is a puff pastry cake. That sounds good.
With a little custard.
A little custard on the side. Utility cream.
You know, I'm a big fan of Mexican food. I think it's probably, well, I know it's in my top 2 ethnic food groups. Probably number 1. So I think Spanish food is very close. You could tell me it's better. I wouldn't fight you on it. I just don't know. I haven't had traditional Spanish food from Spain. But I love Mexican food, and this is probably a absolutely delicious meal.
What are your 3 favorite cuisines, Greg?
Well, I can give you 2.
Okay.
So Mexican, Japanese.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, fantastic. Third is kind of up in the air. There's a big fall off. Okay, I mean, like Italian.
Okay, yeah, Italian's.
But it's overrated to me. Doesn't mean I don't it doesn't mean I dislike it. I just don't find it all that it's cracked up to be. Now, I've never been to Italy.
I love he's aware. Like, I love Greg, right? Because he's
only been to Duffy's.
He's got the capture at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe if I went to Italy, I could be swayed. But point is, it's outside the top 2, no question. What would be a third? I got to put some thought into that. My third favorite food.
Patrick's like a Thai. You'll see like a Thai food kind of guy, Patrick.
No, Thailand was tough for me when I went there because I am highly allergic to nuts and peanuts and everything. I'm an EpiPen boy. And so when we went to Thailand, we were there for about a week. Phuket, Bangkok. Like, I only ate like McDonald's.
That's tough.
Mm-hmm.
I feel for you.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you. That makes up for a prior comment.
I feel for you there too.
We will not continue this conversation. We'll end this conversation.